Welcome back, everybody. We're back for the feature race of the night here for the Touring Car Championship, the finale of the season here, with the championship still very much on the line between WSRCJ and John Boy. They'll be starting at the back with the reverse grid format for the touring cars here on Project Cars 2, and for all of our series on Project Cars 2 for that matter. But obviously Jay starting at the back, having taken the first race win. Is it going to be to John Boy's advantage, lining up in front of him at the start of this race? We'll have to see, but it's going to be an exciting one nonetheless. We've got Ozzy Albi, who'll be leading us around. Avo Alfonso just behind him, ahead of Thomas, who'll be lining up in third place. So in fact, is Avo Alfonso actually going to be headed? I think Avo Alfonso will be leading us around, sorry. So Avo Alfonso controlling the pace as they're coming around the final corner. Ozzy Albi there in P2 with Thomas ahead of Connor. Here we go then, we're about to go now in a second, and it looks like Avo Alfonso's keeping it going right until the last minute. And right, I think we're underway. Yep, we are racing up towards Paddock Hill Bend. We come for the first time. Ozzy Albi's got Flaky already looking on the back of him, and Flaky's made the move through Paddock, so Flaky up into P2. Great start there from him. Oh, as we can see, Ozzy Albi's lost it. Ozzy Albi gets sideways coming through Paddock Hill. He's down to P11. What a disastrous start for Ozzy Albi. Avo Alfonso leads ahead of Flaky at the moment. You've got Charlie Goff there in third, ahead of Nick, followed by Connor, who's making the move on Thomas up into P5, as you've got Diabetic Lamb there holding around the outside. John Boy's made a couple of positions up into 8th. Jay's also followed him through, so the two championship contenders both making up a couple of places. Cobb right behind them, so he's dropped out a bit. Ozzy Albi now running in P11 with that spin coming through Paddock for the first time, and Avo Alfonso's lost out, and Flaky now leads the race. Avo Alfonso goes wide coming to the last corner. That's allowed Charlie up into second and Nick third. Avo Alfonso's losing places here. He's lost out to Thomas as well, and Avo Alfonso down to P5. He's now got Connor all over the back of him as well. As we can see, John Boy, Diabetic Lamb, WSRCJ and Cobb right there with them as well. But what a disaster there for Avo Alfonso, as Flaky leads the race ahead of Charlie at the moment. Nick the Villa looking all over the back of Charlie, coming in towards turn 3, a bit onto the grass there as he came through the corner. Cobb there's running just behind Jay at the moment, but you've got Flaky, Charlie and Nick's really looking to try and hassle Thomas in the early stages of this race. He's really trying to put it up him as much as he can, but at this point it looks like Charlie's just holding his ground. Nick the Villa though looking to try and make the most of a really strong start here in this race. Flaky though in the BMW having an absolute stormer. John Boy looking on the inside here of Avo Alfonso, side by side down towards Paddock Hill, as John Boy's put a space between himself and Jay. I tell you what, Jay though is in the pits at the end of the second racing lap. John Boy's made the move on Alfonso, and also Diabetic Lamb's going to try and follow him through here as well. Diabetic Lamb down the inside into Druids, makes the move, pushes Avo Alfonso a little bit wide, but that's job done there for Diabetic Lamb up into 6th place. Flaky still leads the race ahead of Charlie. Charlie's gone wide, and that's going to give Nick the Villa the place there, so Nick the Villa up into 2nd place. Thomas there's going to look to the inside here of Charlie as well. Is there a bit of contact there? Thomas tags him in the back. Thomas loses out and he drops down. He's falling down the order like a stone here. John Boy up into 4th. Diabetic Lamb, Avo Alfonso. Thomas is going to lose out, I think, to Connor. No, he holds on from Connor, but Thomas there with a major moment, and Charlie Goff's lost it as well. Charlie Goff's been, no, he's into the pits. Charlie Goff's into the pits, so he didn't lose it, but nonetheless he is making his mandatory pit stop nice and early. Flaky though has got just under a second of a gap here at the moment over Nick the Villa. You've got John Boy there running in 3rd place ahead of Diabetic Lamb, followed by Avo Alfonso. Thomas there running in P6 ahead of Connor at the moment. Charlie Goff in the pits. Cobb is running in P9, having made his pit stop already, and in fact out of the pit stop runners, Cobb's come out ahead of Jay, so that's a big one. Jay seemed to have got a bit of a slow pit stop, either that or he made a mistake before he came in, but Charlie Goff has come out in front of both of them. So Charlie Goff has managed to get out in some really nice clear air, and Cobb and Jay not having the start to this race they would have wanted. John Boy though has had an absolute stormer, and he's already on the back of Flaky and the Villa at the moment. The gap in the championship between John Boy and Jay and John Boy, 32 points. So I'm just going to pull up what the points differential needs to be. Jay might only have to finish this race at this rate. I'm just going to check it now on the point system and see what the situation is, but I reckon it could even be a case of Jay finishing this race and he's champion. So John Boy, if John Boy won the race, Jay would need to finish in 8th place. Jay would need. If John Boy were to get the win and the fastest lap, it would go to countback. So Jay would finish. Jay finished in P8 and John Boy won with the fastest lap. It would go to countback. If John Boy were to win and Jay were finished 9th, then John Boy would win the championship no matter what. So basically, Jay has to have a nightmare of a race for John Boy to win this championship. But at the moment, it's not gone to plan, so he needs to keep it cool as Jay and just keep his head clear. But John Boy's attacking on the back of Nick Lavilla as Flaky still leads this race at the moment. Diabetic Lamb's just dropped off of him a little bit over the last couple of the laps. But Diabetic Lamb is still poised to do something if these guys trip over each other. He's only 2 seconds off of the lead, and we know how quick he is around this brand hatch Indy Circuit. Alfonso there running in P5. There's Thomas ahead of Connor, and obviously you've got the pit stop runners of Charlie Goff, Cobb, WSRCJ, and Ozzy Albi with that big damage early on. Really struggling tonight in this feature race. Flaky though leads by 7/10 of a second. Nick Lavilla into the pits here at the end of lap 7, so he's making it relatively early, but you know, we've seen a lot of pit stops already over the course of this race. Diabetic Lamb there's running in 3rd place. He's dropping off of Flaky a little bit at this point. John Boy though is right on the back of Flaky now, 0.6 of a second, now half a second between these two, and John Boy wants to make the most of Jay, seemingly not having the most seamless of progress at the start of this race. Jay though is on the back of Charlie and Cobb at the moment as they're coming down the start finish straight. The last thing that Jay needs is to trip over somebody here. And who's that? That is Nick Lavilla there, coming out of Paddock Hill Bend in 7th place. Nick Lavilla, where was he before? At this rate, I think Jay could end up coming out in P8 by the time all the pit stops are done. He's P10 at the moment. He's just behind Charlie and Cobb. But it's not been what Jay would have needed at all so far. I tell you what, you know, if this race could not have gone much worse for him at this point. All the people that have been into the pits are coming out ahead of him. He's had a really, really difficult start to this race, as we can see. Charlie goes a little bit deep there, and that's Cobb down the inside, and Jay's going to try and follow both of them through. Jay there side by side with Cobb. They're going to be all the way down the start finish straight, but Jay manages to get 2 places in one, and that was a superb move from Jay. And I tell you what, he really needed to do that there and then, because he was at the rate he was going, he was losing time to the leaders and potentially getting himself stuck in a bit of a rut. So he's made that move now on both of them. Cobb looking to the outside, Jay defends the inside into Druids, but Jay made that move and he made it stick perfectly. No, he's lost it! Oh my god! Jay's so close to losing on the exit of Druids, and Charlie now looking around the outside, but Cobb gets P8 back off of him, and Jay they're so close to T-boning Cobb. I tell you what, he did really well to hold on to that, but he needs a few less hairy moments like that in this race if he wants to take this championship. Cobb there onto the grass, right in front of Jay, holds it. John Boy into the pits, and out of the pits, he's well ahead of this battle. John Boy, obviously in a net P2 in this race, was right behind Flaky at the start, or was right behind Flaky a few moments to go. He's come out 7 seconds ahead of this battle, and that just goes to show that I think even possibly Cobb and Jay could even come out behind Connor at this point. I think Thomas is easily going to come out ahead of them when he pits. Thomas is now into the pits. Diabetic Lamb is in, so is Thomas. Now Thomas was running in P4, but he was 3 seconds ahead of Connor, who is the lowest runner of the drivers who are still yet to pit. Jay's running ahead of Charlie at this point. Now what are these guys going to do? Diabetic Lamb is off the limiter. He's now trundling towards the end of the pits. Where's John Boy? John Boy's coming down the start finish straight. It's going to be quite close, but I think John Boy's just going to jump Diabetic Lamb here. So John Boy there coming round Paddock Hill Bend. There's Diabetic Lamb coming out of the pits. Thomas is coming out of the pits now. Now where are these other guys? Nick's got ahead of him, but Jay is behind Thomas. So Jay is on the back of Thomas as Cobb goes really wide coming through Paddock, and you can see now Charlie's on the back of Cobb coming up towards Druids, looking to the outside. Can he make it all the way around him? No, he can't. Cobb holds that inside line for the time being. Jay is currently in P8 in this race at the moment. So as it stands, if John Boy fails to win the race and Jay is P8, then Jay will take the championship. If John Boy gets to win and Jay finishes P8, oh, Jay, massive slide, Jay's wide, he's off, he's nearly in the wall. Oh my god, he gets it back on track, he's down to 10th place. Cobb and Charlie up into 8th and 9th. Jay is making mistakes, he's all over the place in this feature race. What is going on? He's been almost perfect all season, and it seems to be all going wrong at the worst possible moment here for WSRCJ. John Boy is in P4. He's only 20 seconds off for the lead. He might end up in the net lead of this race once Flaky, Alfonso and Connor make their pit stops. Jay is down in 10th place. and there's only 4 drivers still to come in, and Jay is in striking distance of none of them. At this rate, at this moment in time, Flaky, Abo Alfonso and Connor will all come out ahead of Jay. He's down in 10th place. And at this point, John Boy, in the net lead of the race, will take the championship as it stands. This is absolutely huge. Jay is doing his absolute best to throw this championship away, and this is completely wide open at this point. Who knows what is going to happen in this race at the moment? But Flaky still leads by 6 seconds, obviously still yet to pit. We think that John Boy's going to get the jump on him when he comes in. Avo Alfonso still going in 2nd place. You've got Connor running in 3rd, but those 3 still yet to pit at the moment. John Boy, we think, is the net leader. He's got about a second of a gap here to Diabetic Lamb. There is Nick Lavilla, who's a little way behind them, 5 seconds off of the back of those in 6th place at this point. Avo Alfonso making his pit stop from P2, so he will drop down to, I think, the mid-pack sort of range. You've got Thomas there running just ahead of Cobb. Cobb is hassling the back of Thomas at the moment. Charlie Goff and Jay still battling it out, but WSRCJ has had a really tricky start to this race, and it seems like it's not getting any better for him at the moment. He's still stuck behind Charlie Goff at this point as they're coming down the start-finish straight, and Charlie does not seem in any mood to let him past. Right, there is Avo Alfonso coming out of the pits, and crucially, Jay comes out ahead of him. So Jay needed that desperately. He comes out just ahead of Avo Alfonso, and here goes Jay. He's looking to the inside into Druids on Charlie Goff. He thinks better of it. No, he's going to go for it. He sends one down the inside into Druids. Charlie tries to go for the cutback, but Jay, I think, is going to have it around the outside. He goes wide onto the grass there, but WSLCJ makes the move up into P8. And that's very important there for Jay. He makes the move, and he's got now a championship taking position, which is obviously massive for him at this point. Charlie has got Abo Alfonso looking on the back of him but can't make the move. But Jay obviously making the move there on Charlie and coming out ahead of Abo Alfonso, which is massively important for him at this stage in the race. Flaky still leads, Connor still second, not John Boy. I think is definitely the net leader now. He's only 18 seconds behind Flaky, so John Boy should come out with P1 once all is said and done with these pit stops. And Jay's now starting to get into a bit of a rhythm. He's now matching the pace of the leader Flaky. He's now trying to make this move here for Thomas. Now P7, no matter what John Boy does, will be enough for Jay to take this championship. So right now he's standing on the verge of putting himself into a much more comfortable position in this race. We're only on lap 15, but all of a sudden, in the space of a couple of laps, things have started to calm down a little bit for Jay, and maybe he's got this under control a little bit more now. Thomas just squirreling around a little bit there. Cobb's got it all wrong, and Jay will look to try and make the move down the inside. Can he get the run here coming out of the last corner? He'll have the slipstream off of Thomas, but Thomas is kind of sat in the middle of them in a sandwich here. In the background, you've also got Charlie still battling out with Alfonso, but Jay looking to the inside here on Cobb as Thomas is onto the grass coming up towards paddock, but Jay down the inside makes the move on Cobb up into 7th place, and that is a championship taking position for Jay. In the background, it looks as though Alfonso's held on from Charlie Goff. Jay looking to the inside of Thomas in towards Druids. WSRCJ making the move up to P6, and that's great stuff there from Jay. In the background, Alfonso has made the move on Charlie up into P9, but Jay into 6th place. He's 4 seconds behind Nick, who's currently running in P5. John Boy is 10 seconds up the road from him, and will, I think, be in the net lead once Flaky and Connor come into the pits. But Jay is definitely making progress here in this race. And I reckon at this rate he'll probably come out ahead of Connor as well. So at this point I think he's probably in at P5 in this race, and that will absolutely 100% take him will be enough for him to take the championship here. So now Jay looking to settle down and try and just bring this home at this point. There's still a long way to go in this race, but he just needs to make sure he irons out the creases, makes no mistakes from here until the end of the race. Flaky in the meantime doing a very, very solid job out the front. He's got a 13-second lead at the moment over Connor. Can he take the final race of the season? John Boy is really pushing and getting that gap down. It's now 17.5 seconds between Flaky and John Boy. Connor's into the pit, so he's making his mandatory pit stop here at the end of lap 17. But at the moment it's Diabetic Lamb. He's trying to put the pressure on John Boy. He's been closing in on John Boy over the last few laps. This could be for the net lead of the race, as Diabetic Lamb really wide there onto the gravel there coming out of Paddock Hill. If these two battle, that could give Flaky a chance to pull away a little bit, but Flaky has been just holding firm at this point. So Flaky leads by 16 seconds right now. Sorry about that, my uncle just had to ring me up. But right now, John Boy is, I think he's definitely within striking distance. He should be able to jump Flaky once everything's all said and done. You've got Diabetic Lamb still on the back of John Boy, but we reckon that these two are a net 1 and 2 in this race at this point. They got 7 seconds back to Nick, who's got Jay reeling him in a little bit at this point. Jay looks like he is bringing that gap down to Nick, but not a massive rate at this point. He's running just ahead of Cobb, so he's he obviously made the move on him a few laps ago. With Connor having pitted, these guys have come out well out of Connor. Connor's now down in P10 here in this race, so that's not gone to plan at all there for him. But yeah, you got John Boy at the moment, currently just out of Diabetic Lamb. Here coming into Druids, 20th time in this race, up nearing half distance here in this one. Flaky still yet to make his pit stop, but I think the longer he leaves it, the less likely it is that he's going to come out ahead of them, because obviously they are closing the gap at quite a rate at this point. So I think that his best hope of winning the race would be to pit and hope he comes out ahead and then try and hold him up. But at this point, Flaky's doing a really good job, to be fair. In the BMW is not an easy car to drive by any means. I mean, it's a far inferior car to the Renault Megane in the touring car division. So, you know, you've got to give it to Flaky. He's really risen to this occasion here. He leads by 15 seconds at the moment over John Boy. You've got Diabetic Lamb still on the back of John Boy. These two have been giving it everything, and I reckon they're going to be battling over the net lead of the race as well by the time we get to the end of this one. But it's currently a pretty tight battle here between these two. Also, Cobb's still on the back of Jay. Those two still having a good scrap for P5. I can't imagine that Cobb's going to be taking too many risks and trying to throw Jay off, because he knows that Jay's in a championship battle. He's not going to be making it easy for him, but I don't think Cobb's going to be risking it for a biscuit, so to speak. Probably be quite happy to just sort of sit in and sort of just ride with him at the moment, to be honest with you. That's probably the way he's going to be playing this one. As it looks like Diabetic Lamb's made a bit of a mistake, because he's now just over 2 seconds behind John Boy at this point. As we've got 8 of you currently watching, guys, smash the like button. We got Aussie Albie in the pits again. What is he doing? He has been in and out of that pits like no to. He's retired. He's retired the car. No surprise there. It's not been the night for Aussie Albie. It's not been the season for him. Again, I mean, we've seen Flaky going in the BMW. We've seen Aussie Albie in the BMW. Early stages of the season, Flaky and Aussie Albie were quite similarly matched. I think that Aussie Albie's motivation has kind of worn thin over the course of the season, driving a car that is so inferior. Flaky has just had like this never say die attitude. He's just been pumping in the practice and really doing some incredible lap times in the car. But we look forward to next season, because obviously the rules and regs will be changing. We'll be requiring anyone who does choose the Renault Megane will be required to run 100 litres of fuel in every race. We'll be checking it on the streams before the races. When we sit on the starting grid, we'll be flicking down all the drivers, checking their fuel gauge using a little feature such as that in the bottom right hand corner of your screen. We'll be checking all the fuel gauges, having a look, making sure that all the Renault Megane drivers are carrying a minimum of 100 litres. So that will give drivers who drive the BMWs, like Flaky, like Aussie Albie, also Thomas as well, it'll be putting them on a bit more of an even playing field, because we want to see a bit more diversity within the grid. We don't want to be seeing, you know, a Renault Megane supremacy type of affair. But we've lost another driver actually from the race. We've had 2 retirements now, and the other one is, I will tell you in a minute. Once my thing loads, I'm going to have to get both hands on this because my phone's being a pain. We've lost Thomas. Thomas is out of the race. as well. So that's 2 BMWs that are retired from the race. We've still got Flaky going at the moment in the lead, but I think he'll lose that once he pits. It should be John Boy leading with Diabetic Lamb second, I think, at the moment. WSRCJ currently sat in a championship taking position though in P5. That will be more than enough for him to seal the deal, obviously put himself within striking distance with that victory in the sprint race. Doing a fantastic job here in this feature, and I think should have the win pretty much within his grasp, unless Diabetic Lamb can stage a late rally in the final part of this. But you know, it's not over until it's over, that's for sure. Still a long way to go. Still 16 laps in this race. It'll still be around between 10 and 12 minutes until the end of the race. So yeah, there is still opportunities for things to happen. But it's Flaky currently still out in front by 14 seconds over John Boy, and John Boy's still chipping away at that gap. But Flaky, I think, probably I'd say he's almost certainly got a shot at a podium here. He's got 22 seconds back to Nick. Nick is lapping quicker than him, but I think that Flaky should be able to slot in. As it stands, he'll be able to slot in that gap. I think it's about an 17, 18 second time lost in the pits. So he needs to try and, over the next 15 laps, he needs to try and lap within 0.3 of a second a lap of Nick's average. And if he can do that, then he should be able to hold on for a podium, but it could be quite close actually. That's what's Flaky's lap time that time around. It was a bit slow that last time, a 48.0 there from Flaky, so that's not what he wants. Jay and Cobb still running pretty close, just under a second now between these two. So Jay has stretched out that gap a little bit over Cobb. Alfonso and Charlie still pretty close in the battle for 7th and 8th places. Down to 9 runners here tonight. We had 12 start of the night, but unfortunately we lost a few along the way, just due to incidents and stuff. But yeah, we are coming. We are in the closing stages of this season right now, and yeah, mere moments until the end of the touring car season here at Motive. But yeah, it's been a great season here. We've thoroughly enjoyed the action. I mean, I've loved every minute of it, and I know Ryan has as well. Obviously, he's had to dip for this final race of the evening, which is a shame. But hey, it is what it is. I'm sure he's having fun. So John Boy's got the gap under 12 seconds now to Flaky. Obviously Flaky's still yet to come in and make his pit stop as well. That's obviously going to be a factor here. Nick gained 0.4 on Flaky on the last lap. I think he's going to gain a few more here. Or maybe not actually, because that is a concertina effect there, making the times look a little bit less than they are. So Flaky at 47.8. As I said before, Flaky needs to average a lap time that's within 0.3 of a second of Nick to hold on for the podium spots, if my calculations are correct. That's obviously if his pit stop is up to the standard that we're used to seeing. Jay's actually chipping away at Nick as well here. The gap's now under 2 seconds between Nick and Jay, so Jay is hunting him down at quite a rate here. Jay was 0.6 quicker on the last lap, so I wonder if Jay might be fancying a podium here, you know. With Flaky still yet to pit, he'd probably come out about 5 seconds ahead of Nick and Jay at this point. So Jay could be looking at Flaky's podium spot maybe here for the final race of the season. Obviously, we'll be taking the championship as it stands, but he'd love to stand on the podium as well to finish the season off. That would be absolutely great there for him if he can do that. But the gap between Nick and Jay just over a second at this point as they're completing their 30th laps of the race. 12 laps left to go here for the season, around 10 minutes left in this race. And Flaky last lap was a 47.5, so he was a good lap last time from Flaky. Nick a couple of tenths quicker, but that's not going to be enough if he wants to finish on the podium. Jay 47.2, again 3 tenths quicker than Flaky. It's not enough at this rate.
Flaky that time 47.6, so he's just doing enough, I think, at the moment to cling on to that podium spot. Oh, there's a helicopter flying over. So John Boy now just over 10 seconds behind Flaky at this point. And Diabetic Lamb 5 seconds off of the back of John Boy, still in that final podium spot. You've got Nick Levitter there running in 4th place. It's got Jay bearing down on him, that's for sure. There's Cobb running P6, you've got Charlie Goff. There's Avo Alfonso. Corner there a little way behind them in 9th place. But it is Flaky leading the way with 10 laps left to go here. Just coming up on some traffic. That's Avo Alfonso just coming through Druids. Hopefully he won't cause too much of an issue here. Flaky flashing his lights, letting him know he's there. Flaky another 47.6 the last time around. Nick Levitter consistently lapping about 3/10 quicker. So it could be quite close here, actually. And with Jay also closing up onto the back of Nick as well. We've got 46.9 the last lap from Jay. Jay is flying in the last part of this race. He needs to be careful. He doesn't want to take too many risks. As we see Cobb running wide, coming out of Paddock Hill in the background. He was all over the gravel there. But yeah, we don't want to be seeing Jay taking... He's got the championship in hand. The last thing he needs to do now is end up trying to go too fast, trying to get onto the podium and binning it and losing his championship. Jay, if you're listening to this, mate, just keep it calm. Just keep cool. Don't do anything silly. Just hold on to it. You've got this, mate. Just hold on to it. Flaky is coming around the middle part of the lap on lap 34. He's got 8 laps left in this race. He's got just under a 10-second gap here to John Boy. John Boy consistently taking on average about half a second a lap off of him. Jay the fastest man out on track, but he's too far behind John Boy to have any say. And he's too far behind Diabetic Lamb as well. Diabetic Lamb is running in 3rd place, a net P2. Actually, you know what? Maybe. Flaky, I'll tell you what, has been gaining a bit on Diabetic Lamb. Diabetic Lamb has had a couple of scruffy laps in the last couple of laps. And he's now 17 seconds behind Flaky. So Flaky has a really quick pit stop. Then maybe Flaky might be able to jump Diabetic Lamb and come out in P2. That could be a close one. Diabetic Lamb's kind of got to get his skates on here if he wants to secure that 2nd spot tonight. Nick and Jay still battling it out as they come into Paddock here for the 35th time in the race, but Nick still defending that inside line and doing a good job here of keeping the potential champion-elect at bay. Here he is, Jay, just keeping calm at this point, knows he's got it, knows he's pretty much wrapped up this title. He just needs to send it home, just needs to keep it cool in these final couple of laps. Flaky currently leading the race by 8 seconds at the moment here over John Boy, and yeah, he's looking very good at the moment. Is Flaky for this one, for the 3rd place, as long as he can keep the gap to Nick where it is. Nick's still got Jay hassling him, and Jay's a little bit closer this time. The more these guys battle, the more that Flaky's going to be looking ever more set for that podium place. As we come out of the last corner here, Nick once again just got Jay really bearing down on him down towards Paddock Hill. Is Jay going to throw a feint to the inside? He is going to throw one, but Nick not phased in any way, shape or form. Nick's a racer. Nick drives cars in real life, so does Jay. Nick knows that trick. It's the oldest trick in the book. He's not going to fall for that one. Jay trying to hold it around the outside. Nick hangs him out to dry there. Great driving from these two as well. I think they might be just about out of range of a podium at this point. Okay, I think Flaky 21 seconds, he should come out in that 3rd spot. The question is though, with Flaky now I think maybe the tyres starting to come back to Flaky at this point in the BMW, and maybe at this point he just seems to be edging out the gap a bit to Diabetic Lamb. He was 4/10 quicker than Diabetic Lamb on the last lap. So if Flaky can continue the way he's going, he might be able to get ahead of Diabetic Lamb for P2. We were saying earlier on how Diabetic Lamb was pretty much a shoo-in for that second spot. He was right behind John Boy for a few laps. He's dropped off over the last few laps, maybe struggling with the tyres. And Jay's got ahead of Nick. Jay's made the move into Druids. Is Nick still there? No, Jay's got it around the outside and is up into 4th place. So WSRCJ at long last has made the move, but I think it's a bit too late for him to hunt down a podium spot. He's 4 seconds behind Diabetic Lamb. With Flaky still to pit, he's coming through Paddock Hill and up to Druids right now. He's got 7 seconds to John Boy. Is Nick going to try and come back at Jay here? Nick might not be done in this fight for 4th place. But Jay making that move, and he's 4 laps away from a championship. Pretty much got this one now. Much within his grasp. Oh, Nick really wide there coming out of Druids, all over the grass. Holds on to it. No, big slide. Yeah, keeps it going. That was close. Tell you what. Gap down to under 7 seconds between Flaky and John Boyd. Flaky continuing round. Looks like he's going to leave this until the very last lap to come in. He's got just over 21 seconds to Jay. The gap between Flaky and Diabetic Lamb's come down a bit. Diabetic Lamb was a couple of tenths quicker than Flaky on the last lap. And the gap's now under 17 seconds between Flaky and Diabetic Lamb. So I think Diabetic Lamb will get Flaky for 2nd place. But it could still be quite close here. Flaky coming to the final corner. Does he come in this time or does he come in next time? It's got to be one or the other. And it is this time. Flaky slows it down. He's into the pits. Got it stopped in time. No red splotch next to his name for speeding in the pits. Diabetic Lamb's coming around the last couple of corners. John Boy taking the race lead here. The 2-time champion of the touring cars. Looks like he's going to come up 2nd best for this season, but he is going to go out on a high with a race win by the looks of it. But where's Flaky? Flaky's still in the box, and Diabetic Lamb's coming around now. So Diabetic Lamb has done Flaky up into P2. Where's Jay? Jay might come out ahead of Flaky here. He is going to come out ahead of Flaky. So WSRCJ onto the podium. And Flaky might lose out to Nick here. Yeah, Nick is up into 4th place. So Flaky had quite a long pit stop there and drops down to P5 with that one. I wasn't expecting that, to be fair. I thought he was going to come out in P3. My calculations had him down for P3, but he's lost it. I think an extra 3 or 4 seconds in the pit box has dropped him from what would have been 3rd down to 5th place. And that's not going to plan for Flaky. And, well, just goes to show. From my experience in commentating, I can very easily get it wrong on the strategy. But John Boy, nonetheless, is on his final lap of the race and for this season. Diabetic Lamb looks like he's going to take home a comfortable 2nd place here. He's got Jay 3 seconds behind him. Nick Livilla there in 4th place. Flaky there in P5. You've got Cobb still going in 6th place right now. There's Charlie Goff in 7th. Just coming to the final part of the lap. You've got Alvaro Alfonso in 8th place. Connor still going in 9th place there. Just about 3 seconds off at the back of Alvaro Alfonso. Let's jump to this man there, John Boy. He's going to come around the final few corners. He is a 2-time champion of the touring cars. He won the Clio Cup for the first time on Monday night, but unfortunately it's not going to be his season in the touring cars. He is denied a 3rd title, but a flash of lights nonetheless. He's pretty chuffed with a race win, and he'll take that going into next season. John Boy, your race winner tonight. Diabetic Lamb is going to come around to take 2nd place, but your champion of the touring cars here at Motive Racing for season 10 here on Project Cars 2. It's WSRCJ taking his 1st title here at Motive as he comes over the line. What a drive, what a season here from Jay. He didn't have it easy in that feature race, but he kept it cool under immense pressure, and he brings it home in 3rd place. WSRCJ is your champion for season 10. Congratulations to him. Nick Livilla comes over to take 4th place in the end ahead of Flaky, who takes P5. Cobb P6 ahead of Charlie Goff, who's coming over right now to finish in 7th place. The other two were a lap down, Alvaro Alfonso and Connor. But it is WSRCJ who is your champion for season 10. John Boy, I think, nabbed the fastest lap on this occasion. Diabetic Lamb not able to continue his run of fastest laps, unfortunately, there for him. But John Boy taking the win, the final win of the season. Diabetic Lamb completing the podium. WSRCJ, your champion. Nick de Villa in for Flaky did a fantastic job in the BMW this season. I can't wait to see how he can do with the new regs for next season with the McGann having to carry the ballast. That will definitely mix it up a little bit. But guys, I want to thank everybody who's tuned in for this season. I'm going to cut this stream down so it's just the qualifying in the race. So that will be ready and probably be cropped in a couple of days. I'll obviously be putting the entire season into a playlist as well. So if anybody, if you ever bored one day or ever just, fancy a pick me up, maybe you're not believing in yourself, you don't have any, you're losing confidence in your own ability, you kind of like, you just need to have some self-belief, then obviously these streams will always be here. They'll be in a little playlist so you can watch them back and you can have faith in your own abilities. But that is it from me. I want to say thank you to obviously Ryan for joining me in the box for most of the season, all but 3 races of the 12, so commentated with me for 75% of the season in the touring cars. Big thanks to him. Obviously thanks to all the drivers, to everybody who's commented over the course of this season. Massive thank you to Emma, our biggest fan in the chat, Archie as well, honourable mention to him, and everybody who's chimed in over the season, but especially those 2 standouts to me in the comments. Thanks to all the drivers again, and yeah, we'll see you next season for the touring cars. Also join us tomorrow night. Hopefully we have a GT5 stream on. If not, then we'll see. But yeah, we'll definitely be back on Sunday for the GT3 Sprint Championship. But yeah, make sure you check out the sign-up form for the touring cars. That will be going live over the weekend. And yeah, keep your eyes out for more news on Project Cars 2 here at Motive, because I'm thinking of maybe setting up a GTE league on Friday to replace the GT5s, because the GT5s were a little bit struggling for popularity towards the end of the season. So I'm thinking GTEs for Friday, but watch this space. But yeah, once again, thanks everybody. We'll see you very soon. Take it easy and good night.